The water rippled once, then twice, and then something small and blue broke the surface. A shell, a head, two curious eyes scanning the shore. This is the story of a tiny turtle who would learn that courage has nothing to do with size. Along the rocky edges of Kanto's eastern coastline, where freshwater streams meet the salt of the sea, lives a species known to researchers as the tiny turtle Pokémon. Standing barely half a meter tall and weighing no more than 9 kilograms, these creatures make their homes in the shallow waters between land and deep ocean. Their rounded shells serve a dual purpose: protection from predators and streamlined swimming through underwater currents. But perhaps their most remarkable feature lies hidden within: the ability to harness water itself, launching pressurized jets with surprising force when the moment demands it. One such creature had claimed a small inlet as home. The water here ran clear over smooth stones, and sunlight filtered down through swaying kelp. It was peaceful, it was safe, and for many seasons, that had been enough. But lately, something had changed. The streams feeding this inlet had grown thin. The water level dropped week by week, exposing rocks that had been submerged for generations. Fish that once schooled through these shallows had migrated elsewhere, following the current to deeper, cooler waters. The little turtle noticed the change first in small ways: the temperature rising, the hiding spots shrinking, the familiar landscape becoming foreign. One morning, the turtle surfaced to find the inlet nearly cut off from the main channel. A wall of mud and debris had accumulated during recent storms, blocking the flow that kept this sanctuary alive. Beyond that barrier, the open waters called. Vast, unknown, and full of dangers the turtle had only heard whispered about by older creatures passing through. The choice seemed impossible: stay and watch home slowly disappear, or leave everything familiar behind. For 3 days, the turtle circled the shrinking pool, diving deep to inspect the blockage, surfacing to watch the water level drop another centimeter. On the 4th morning, determination won over fear. Those small flippers began working against the current, pushing toward the barrier. The first attempt was a disaster. The turtle swam hard, building speed, then launched a pressurized stream of water at the debris wall. The jet hit true, carving a small hole, but the surrounding mud simply collapsed inward, filling the gap. Worse, the effort had stirred up silt that clouded the entire inlet, making it impossible to see. 900 ms. The turtle retreated, coughing, shell scraping against unfamiliar rocks in the murky water. Hours passed before the water cleared enough to try again. This time, the approach changed. Instead of raw force, the turtle studied the wall, circling it slowly, looking for weakness. There, near the bottom, where water still trickled through in thin streams. The foundation was unstable, but reaching that spot meant diving deeper than ever before, into darkness where the water pressure squeezed tight against that protective shell. The turtle hesitated at the edge of the shadow, feeling instinct scream warnings about what lurked in places the light could not reach. A sound echoed from somewhere beyond the barrier. Splashing. Movement. Something was out there in the open water, something large enough to disturb the surface from a distance. The turtle pulled back into the shell, waiting, watching through the gap between carapace and plastron. The splashing grew louder, then suddenly stopped. Silence stretched across the inlet, broken only by the soft drip of water from exposed stones. Then a voice carried across the water, distant but clear. "Help! Someone! Please!" It was young. It was frightened. And it was coming from the other side. of the barrier. The turtle's head emerged slowly from the shell. Every survival instinct said to stay hidden, to wait for danger to pass, to protect what little remained of this shrinking sanctuary. But that voice called out again, weaker this time, and something deeper than instinct stirred in response. The darkness below the barrier waited. The unknown beyond it held both threat and mystery. And somewhere out there, someone needed help that might never come. The turtle took one last look at the only home it had ever known, drew in a breath of warm air, and dove straight down into the black. The descent felt endless. Pressure built against the shell as light faded to gray, then to something darker than the turtle had ever experienced. Flippers pushed downward through water that grew colder with each stroke, until finally, the bottom of the barrier emerged from the gloom. A tangle of roots, stones, and packed sediment that had sealed this inlet from the world beyond. The trickle of water was there, just as observed from above. But down here, in the crushing dark, the gap looked impossibly small. The turtle pressed against it, testing, feeling the current pull through with desperate urgency. Too narrow. The shell would never fit. That voice called out again, muffled by water and debris, but unmistakably closer now. Time to 100 me, and weaker. The turtle pulled back, circling in the darkness, mind racing. Raw power had failed before. The gap was too small to squeeze through. The pressure down here made every movement exhausting. Logic said to surface, to breathe, to accept that some things simply could not be changed. But then the turtle noticed something. The roots holding the debris together. They were not anchored to stone. They were wrapped around each other, tension holding the entire structure in place. Remove one key piece, and the whole thing might shift. It was a guess. It might bring the entire wall down, trapping the turtle in darkness forever. But up above, the inlet was dying anyway. And out there, beyond this barrier, someone was running out of time. The turtle positioned carefully, aimed at the thickest root, where it wound around a central stone, and released everything. Not a scattered jet, but a focused stream, concentrated into a point no wider than a single flipper. Water carved against waterlogged wood with a sound like tearing fabric. The root split. For one terrible moment, nothing happened. Then the wall groaned, shifted, and a section near the top simply fell away, tumbling into the depths as current rushed through the gap with sudden force. The turtle shot upward through the opening, time carried by the surge, breaking the surface on the other side of the barrier into water that tasted different, saltier, wilder, alive with movement and possibility. And there, tangled in drifting kelp near a jagged outcropping, was the source of that frightened voice. Another creature, young and small, had become wrapped in the underwater vegetation while trying to navigate unfamiliar waters. It struggled weakly, exhausted from calling for help, barely keeping its head above the surface. The turtle swam close, working carefully at the tangled strands, using precise jets of water to loosen what flippers could not untangle. It took time. The kelp was stubborn, and the young creature kept panicking, making the knots tighter. But the turtle had learned something in that dark descent, that patience and precision could accomplish what force alone could not. Strand by strand, the tangle loosened. Finally, with one last gentle push, the trapped creature pulled free. It swam in circles for a moment, disoriented, then turned back toward the turtle with something like wonder in its eyes. No words passed between them. Perhaps none were needed. The young creature dipped its head once, a gesture that seemed to carry gratitude heavier than language. then turned and swam toward the open water, where others of its kind were calling. The turtle floated alone in the current, watching it go. Behind, through the gap in the broken barrier, the old inlet was already changing. Fresh water flowed through freely now, carrying nutrients and life back into that shrinking sanctuary. It would recover, it would grow, and it would always be there to return to. But ahead, the ocean stretched vast and full of mysteries, currents to explore, creatures to meet, challenges that would demand everything a small turtle could give. The shell that had once felt like protection now felt like possibility. Some Pokédex entries suggest these creatures can live for over 10,000 years. Watching coastlines rise and fall, carrying memories of seas that existed before humans walked the earth. Perhaps courage, like those ancient waters, is not about size at all. Perhaps it is simply the choice to move forward when staying still is no longer enough. The turtle turned toward the horizon, felt the current pull gently eastward, and began to swim. Love Pokémon documentaries? Subscribe for more, and join us next time as we explore another story from the wild.